My parents believed a lie about me for years, until one. Hello everyone. Before we start today's story, I just want to ask for a quick favor. If you enjoy long real-life Reddit stories like this one, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's free, it takes only a second, and it genuinely helps us keep bringing you more content like this. Your support means more than you know. Thank you. Now, let's get into it. I never thought I would be the one writing something like this. I've spent years scrolling through stories on Reddit, reading about betrayals, family drama, and life-altering lies, always thinking, that's awful, but that would never happen to me. I was wrong. What I didn't realize at the time was that my life had already been quietly derailed by a lie so big it reshaped how my own parents saw me for nearly a decade. For years, my parents believed something horrible about me. Not a rumor, not a misunderstanding. A deliberate lie that painted me as someone I wasn't, selfish, manipulative, and capable of betraying family. The worst part is that I didn't even know this lie existed until it had already taken root and poisoned everything. Growing up, I was the easy child. I followed rules, got good grades, stayed out of trouble, and rarely asked for much. My parents were strict but proud. Reputation mattered deeply to them, and they believed that good behavior reflected good character. If something looked bad, then to them, it was bad. Context rarely mattered. I have an older brother, Mark, who is 4 years older than me. He was my opposite in almost every way. Loud, impulsive, charismatic, and constantly chasing the next thrill. Where I planned ahead, he acted on emotion. Where I worried about consequences, he ignored them completely. And despite the chaos he caused, my parents adored him. As kids, I idolized Mark. I defended him when teachers complained, covered for him when he missed curfew, and took his side in arguments. I believed loyalty between siblings was unbreakable. I didn't understand then that my loyalty would never be returned. Everything changed when I was 19. I had come home from college for winter break. Mark had just moved back in after dropping out of his second college program. He was angry, frustrated, and constantly fighting with my parents about money and responsibility. The house felt tense all the time, like everyone was walking on glass. One night, after a brutal argument, Mark stormed out of the house. The next morning, my parents asked me to sit down at the kitchen table. The look on their faces still haunts me. Cold, guarded, almost disappointed. My mom asked quietly, "Why would you do something like that to your own brother?" I remember staring at her, completely confused. Do what? That's when they told me everything. According to Mark, I had been secretly stealing money from him for months, thousands of dollars. He claimed I had accessed his bank account, taken advantage of his trust, and when he confronted me, I allegedly threatened him and told him I'd destroy his reputation if he told anyone. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it sounded so absurd I thought it had to be a joke. They didn't laugh. My dad slid a stack of printed bank statements across the table. Withdrawals highlighted in yellow, dates circled in red, amounts underlined. "Evidence," he said. My chest felt tight. I tried to explain that I didn't have access to Mark's account. I didn't know his PIN. I had never taken a single dollar from him. But the more I spoke, the more defensive I sounded. The calmer I tried to be, the guiltier they thought I looked. Mark wasn't there to answer questions. He had disappeared. That should have raised doubts. It didn't. From that moment on, my parents didn't yell or explode. Instead, they became distant, suspicious, cold. Every interaction felt like I was being silently evaluated. Any mistake I made, forgetting to call, being late, asking for help, felt like more proof against me. I went back to college early just to escape the atmosphere. Over the next few years, the lie grew bigger. Whenever money went missing in the house, I felt eyes on me. When Mark asked for financial help, my parents gave it to him, convinced he was still recovering from what I had done. During holidays, conversations were awkward and surface level. I felt like a guest in my own family. I tried to clear my name more times than I can count. I begged them to contact the bank, to check ATM footage, to look at IP logs. Every time, they shut it down. We don't want to reopen old wounds. Mark wouldn't lie about something like this. Why can't you just take responsibility and move forward? Eventually, I gave up. I graduated, got a job, and moved to another city. I kept contact minimal. Birthday calls, holiday texts. The relationship existed, but the trust was gone. I wasn't their son anymore. I was a disappointment they tolerated. Meanwhile, Mark's life slowly unraveled. He bounced between jobs, relationships, and cities. Always needed help. Always had an excuse. My parents continued to support him financially, convinced he was fragile and damaged because of me. Then, nearly 8 years after the lie began, everything changed. My mom received a phone call late one evening. It was from Mark's ex-girlfriend, a woman my parents barely remembered. She didn't ease into the conversation. "I don't know how else to say this," she told my mom, "but you've been blaming the wrong son." During a drunken argument years earlier, Mark had confessed everything to her. He had been stealing money from me and setting me up to take the fall. He memorized my banking information when I stayed home one summer. When his own money ran out, he flipped the narrative. The withdrawals my parents saw, manipulated transfers, the threats he accused me of making, things he had actually said to her. She had proof, screenshots, old emails, dates that lined up perfectly with bank records. This time, my parents didn't hesitate. They contacted the bank, asked the right questions, reviewed login histories and transaction locations. In less than an hour, the truth was undeniable. Every suspicious action traced back to Mark, none to me. They called me that same night. My dad was crying. I had never heard that before. "We were wrong," he said. "We failed you." I didn't feel relief. I felt numb. They asked me to come home. I didn't answer right away. When I finally visited, the apologies poured out. They asked why I hadn't fought harder, why I hadn't forced them to see the truth. I asked why they hadn't trusted me even once. Mark disappeared after the truth came out. He cut contact with everyone. My parents haven't heard from him since. They're trying now, calling more, visiting, including me again. It helps, but it doesn't erase years of distance and quiet judgment. Some damage doesn't heal cleanly. It scars. Still, the lie is gone. For the first time in years, when my parents look at me, I don't see suspicion. I see regret. I see understanding. I see the son they almost lost because they trusted the wrong voice. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Lies don't always fall apart quickly. Sometimes they survive for years, quietly reshaping relationships. And sometimes the truth arrives far too late. But when it does, it changes everything. Thanks for listening. And if you're still here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more long, real-life Reddit stories like this one.